What is up, guys? It's Jono. This is part 2 of the series, how you can automate 95% of your service-based business. The whole goal of this series is so that you can take back control of your life, have the freedom you want, and have all that busy work taken care of by automation and then soon to be employees. So let's dive into it. The second part of this series, we're going to be talking about how you can automate lead flow. Now, if you see the diagram here, you'll notice at the top we have different sources of leads. So for example, your business, I don't necessarily know where you're going to be generating leads from, but it could be social media, it could be Google Ads, it could be SEO, it could be like a lead seller like Angie's List or Bark.com or whatever, right? And there could be a lot of other lead sources that I haven't mentioned here. But you can see that when you're directing traffic from SEO or Google Ads or social media, you're probably most likely going to be directing that traffic to a website. Now, you might get Instagram messages, you might be DMing people there, right? But this is, not the course for how to DM people on Instagram, because you're gonna be spending your time. And this is for people that don't wanna spend their time doing it. They wanna achieve something what I coin as apex efficiency, where you can spend literally 0 seconds achieving a goal, right? How you can either outsource it to your team members, or you can just automate the task entirely so that you're spending 0 seconds thinking about it, working on it, doing it, whatever, right? So we got some channels here: social media marketing, Google Ads, SEO. That feeds into your website, so you can have these leads being sent to a landing page, right? And then on the other side, we have lead sellers like Bark.com, Angie's List, Wedding Wire, all of these lead aggregators where you can just purchase leads from, right? And either there's going to be two options here. Option number one is you can essentially have a plugin through or like a trigger through Zapier.com or Make.com, which can capture that lead. And for those of you that are watching this scratching their head being like, what the hell does that mean? I'm going to explain that in this video. It's super simple. And then the other option is for email parsing. So what that essentially means is that some of these lead providers, you go on it, they don't have an integration with Zapier.com, Make.com. They're well behind the curve, right? But that's okay. You don't actually need Zapier or Make.com to automatically get these leads coming into your system. You can actually just parse the email they send you. So pretty much, I've never encountered a lead aggregator that doesn't send you at least an email being like, hey, can you please buy this lead? We want to make more money. So when you get that email that comes into your inbox, you can actually just set up an automation so that you parse the information that you probably want, such as the first name of the client, the last name of the client, the email, as well as the phone number. And all of that information we can parse from the email, throw it into an automation, and automatically get notified so that you can be on the call within 60 seconds, beating out all of the competitors who are frantically trying to get the phone number from the lead source and call it, right? You're just gonna be faster to the punch. You're gonna get on the call with the client. You're gonna close more deals, probably 4 times as many as the study suggests. You increase your lead conversion rate by 391% by just calling in 60 seconds. That's massive. Like anecdotally on my business, like I can sit there and I can call people that are like stale leads that I inquired like a few days ago to a couple of weeks ago. I'm just like, man, like 80 calls, 90 calls, 100 calls. Like I can't even get a single quote out. But then, lead comes in and you call it like that, and you get the quotes out. So it's so important, right? Half the battle is just actually picking up the phone faster. And that's what this video is going to be teaching you guys today. Okay, awesome. So this is kind of what it looks like. And then once we get that information from the website, this is actually incorrect here. We're going to send this to Zapier.com. And this is also incorrect. We're going to send this to Zapier.com. So it's kind of all being fed into either Zapier or Make.com, and then into the CRM, and then into the CRM workflow automation. Now, Zapier and Make.com, for those of you who don't know it, it's a software. I'll show you the landing page here. It's essentially a software where it's like the glue of the internet. You can connect different applications together. So in this instance, maybe you have a lead coming in from your website. You pass that information from your lead form into Make.com. It sends it to your CRM, which could be like HubSpot. It could be GoHighLevel. It could be Salesforce or whatever, right? So it's all no code workflow automation. So you don't have to know JavaScript or anything like that or coding to be able to do this, right? It's just drag and drop. It's like, okay, you know, form here, and then you send it to the CRM, right? So super simple, but it is honestly one of the most powerful software applications you could possibly know. Zapier is essentially the exact same thing, right? So, oh, my spelling is atrocious today. Okay, so Zapier is the same thing. These are essentially substitutes. Now, when you're looking at this, the distinction between the two is that essentially Zapier is just easier to learn. Straight up, it's just easier to learn. Way less of a learning curve. But Make.com, in my opinion, is like 1,000 times better. I would never use Zapier in a million years if I could avoid it, right? The only reason I use Zapier is because there's some extensions that you have to use Zapier for because it doesn't exist in Make.com. You just can't get it. So in those instances, I use Zapier very reluctantly, but then I switch over to Make.com. However, both are good, and you could just start out with Zapier if you want, just because it's easier. You get your foot in the door, and then once you complete that, you can move on to Make.com. Okay, awesome. So that's kind of the software here. And then for the CRM guys, we're going to be using GoHighLevel. You can use whatever you want. You can use Salesforce, HubSpot, CRM, any of that kind of stuff. But for this tutorial and all the following tutorials, we're going to use GoHighLevel. I use it because it is probably the best CRM for CRM automation that I've come across when I did my research, and I love it to death. And then in the CRM GoHighLevel, you can set up workflow automation so that you can text yourself faster. You can text yourself the new lead. You can email yourself the new lead. You can give yourself a call, which automatically connects you into a call with the clients, and then you guys are on the phone within 10 seconds or less. So that is what we're going to be building out in this video. Let's dive into it. Okay, sweet. So in front of me, I have WordPress. Okay, this is we're just going to go ahead. We're going to create a page in WordPress. I use Elementor. Okay, it's a free extension. If you want to use the forms, it is paid. I think it's $99 a year or something like that. But you can use whatever website builder you want. The one thing that you want to keep in mind when you're selecting a website builder and doing automation work is that it needs to integrate or play nicely with other software applications. So what that means is, let's go ahead and we're going to drag and drop a form onto this website. Oh my gosh, looks absolutely stunning. Cool. So we need to be able to send a webhook. Now, a webhook is just fancy lingo for saying you're sending data from one application to the other. So in this instance, the first application is your website or the form that we're creating, and then the second application is Make.com. So webhook just sends information from here to here. It's just sending the first name, last name, email, phone number from that form all the way into Make.com so that you can use and manipulate the information in Make.com. Now that's abstract, but we're actually going to show you what that looks like. Okay, so in this form, we got name, email, message. Let's just go ahead and tidy this up. I don't really like putting in messages, and I also don't like having the name be like just like name. I want it to be separated into first name and last name. This ID here, I always like making sure that this is labeled properly because it just makes your life a lot easier when you're setting up the variables in Make.com. We'll kind of go through that later, but for now, just know that it makes it a lot easier. So we're going to go ahead and collect the important information, last name. Okay, and you'll see like it gives a random ID here, which is really hard to identify, and that's what you're going to be looking at this field for later. And then this one looks good. Okay, email, and ID is email. Okay, and then this one is going to be the telephone. Okay, perfect. And we're just going to call this phone, and phone. Okay, great. So we have our form set up, right? Now, the important thing, as I mentioned, is actions after the submit. We need to add one here, and what we need to add is something called a webhook. Now, if you're using a website builder and you don't have access to like using a webhook, then this is going to be hard for you to do. Right now, I don't know any substitutes. For me, when I choose software, I always make a point of choosing software that plays nicely with other things. If you're using a website builder and it doesn't have the ability to send a webhook, I would never use that because it's so limiting and it's not going to allow you to get to your ultimate goal of automating your whole business. So when I choose software, the first thing I choose that software on is how well it can integrate with other things. Because if it's a standalone software, no matter how good it is, it's likely going to be lacking some sort of functionality. And that's going to be limiting in the long run, because if you need to integrate that into another system, well, then you can't do it, right? And even if it's good now, it doesn't mean it's going to be better or just as good later on. And there's two things that you need to pay attention to. So it's the integration of sending information out and also sending information in, right? So it has to be able to send it out and receive information at the same time. Okay, so we got this webhook here. We're gonna go back into make.com and we're going to create a scenario here. And this is the webhook module here. Okay, it's gonna take a couple seconds to load and okay, perfect. So we're gonna select the webhook module there and we're gonna do custom webhook. And then we're just gonna do like test. Very creative, very unique name, I know. And then we're gonna copy this address and click OK. Perfect. We're gonna come back here, and because we clicked this webhook here, now we can see it here, and we just paste that URL. So once again, webhooks are sending it from one location to the next, in this case, the form into make.com. We're sending it to an API endpoint. That endpoint is just here, right? And it's just sending it to their server, hook.us.one.make.com, and then this is the unique path that they've chosen, which is distinct only for this webhook, right? So all the data that comes here is going to be received in this webhook, and we can test this by running this once. We're going to go ahead, we're going to preview the changes, and then we're going to go and add in information here. So Jono cat lift 604-555. Let's just put a random number. Oh, okay, never mind. And test1234@gmail.com. Okay, we're gonna send this information off. Your form was successfully submitted, and we can see the information has come in. So remember how we were talking about back here with the form fields and the IDs being labeled correctly, right? This is important because it's gonna be coming in here, right? So we just wanna make sure that all the time we're labeling things. So it's very easy to go about like really understanding the right information. Okay, great. So we've gotten from essentially sending information over from, social media, Google Ads, SEO into the website, right? So that's stage one, right? So you have social media or Google Ads or SEO, and you drive that traffic to your website, which in this case is this beautiful, stunning page right here, right? And then once you have, a landing page, I'm not going to obviously go into the creating how a beautiful landing page looks, but you need to have the form. And once that form is submitted on the landing page here in one of these three sources, and once they click through one of these sources, they land on the website page. That website page has a form, and then once you submit that form, it gets sent to make.com or Zapier. And that's what we've done so far. We've sent it to make.com, right? And then from there, we can set up an HTTP module and send that to the CRM. So we're actually going to go ahead and complete this whole transaction here, this whole process here, and then we're going to talk about the lead seller bark.com, how it can be used in make.com, Zapier or email parsers and all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to go through this logic branch first. Okay, great. So now we have HTTP module. Now, what this module effectively does is it's pretty much the exact same as the webhook module, where it really does the same thing. It just sends information once again from one platform to the next. And in this case, what we're sending information from is from make.com into the CRM so that we can automate that information. Once we get in the CRM, we can then automatically text yourself. We can automatically text your sales reps as well. We can make sure that you get a call, for example. All of that kind of stuff is going to be taken care of. Okay, Perfect. So we have the HTTP module and we're going to make a request. Okay, so we need a URL to send that information to, and that's where we can come in here and we can create a new workflow. And we're going to start from scratch. Okay, beautiful. This is GoHighLevel, guys, just in case you're wondering. This is the CRM that I recommend. Personally, I've been using it for all of my businesses for probably like 4 or 5 years. I love it. They roll out and implement features all the time. Sometimes it breaks, which is frustrating, but overall it's incredible. Okay, so we're gonna do test, and this is gonna be new lead. Okay, awesome. So we're gonna set it up with, where is it? We're gonna do inbound webhook, and we're gonna take this URL and we're gonna post it in here. And then the method is post. There's a lot of different methods here, right? So this is just like computer software jargon, right? Where you're sending information from one server to the next, and there's different ways you can process that information. So for example, in a post method, you're sending that information to be saved in the database. In a get method, you're just requesting that external server to send you information. So for example, maybe you want to retrieve like a particular client object, like the client's first name, last name, email, phone number from that external CRM, right? You could delete the an object in the foreign database, like you could delete a client, right? So that they're no longer in the CRM, and you can update it with put, right? So those are the most common ones. In this case, we're just sending information to the CRM, so we're gonna use post. And then we can skip most of this. We'll do application X www.form URL encoded, and we're going to add the different fields that we want to pass into the CRM. In this case, there's just a little bit of legwork, right? We're just mapping fields. So first name, we're going to go ahead and just, the key is going to be the name that we want to pass in. So last name, email, and phone number. Okay, great. And then when we submitted this form, we submitted my first name, my last name, my email, my phone number, right? So we're gonna go ahead and we collected the information here. So first name is Jono. We're gonna put the corresponding first name with the first name key. And then this is just the value, which is what the user would have submitted their information to be. Last name is gonna be last name, email is gonna be email, and phone is going to be phone. Okay, great. So we have this set up, and now we're going to receive information in the CRM. You can see here there's no results found because we have to test this again and push information through one more time. So let's go ahead and do that. Jono Catliff test1234@gmail.com and 604. Okay, awesome. So we're going to send it through. Okay, it's successful. It's been sent to the URL here, and we can see that now we have a new request coming in with first name equals Jono, last name equals Catliff, email equals test1234, super original, I know, at gmail.com, and phone equals that. We can go ahead and save the trigger and create the contact. Now, this is gonna vary from CRM to CRM, but when you're dealing with a new customer, you're gonna have to create them in your CRM. And in this instance, we're just mapping the fields out once again, like we did in make.com, where we had to go like first name equals first name, last name equals last name, email equals email, and so on and so forth. So we just have to update the fields one last time in the CRM. Okay, email equals inbound webhook trigger, email, first name equals first name, inbound webhook, first name, and just in case you guys can't see, I'm just gonna close my face there. And then last name is last name, inbound webhook, last name, and then phone is the last field. Okay, perfect. So we've officially done all the mapping here. That was a big pain in the ass, but it is officially done, and hopefully we'll never have to do that in the rest of this company's history. Okay, there we go. Awesome, so we have it in here. Next thing we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna assign it to somebody, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna assign it to myself here, And there we go. When these leads come in, it's going to be assigned to me. Now, if you have other sales reps on your team, what you can do is you can do a round robin system. You could do like Alex Murad, and then it's going to be, the traffic's going to be equally split between me and him. So every second person is going to go to him. Every third person is going to go to me, kind of deal. And you can also split it unevenly in case you want to have like 70% of the leads go to me, 30% of the leads go to him. But in this case, we're just going to stick with me. But that's a good way to do a round robin system. And what you can also do is, like me personally, I don't really like round robin systems unless you have so many leads coming in that you just like you can predict like clockwork leads are just coming into the CRM. In my case, we get probably like, I want to say like 20 to 40 leads every single day, which is a lot, or it's a good amount, but it's not like an overwhelming amount. So every lead matters, and we want to make sure that we call that person in 60 seconds. So what I do is I do an internal notification, which I'm just sending an SMS, right, to a particular user. In this case, that particular user is going to be myself, and voila, there we go. And then we can just put a message here. Hey, Jono, you have a new lead. Hurry the fuck up. Oops. Please call, and we can map in the person's first name here, at phone number right now. Okay, awesome. And you know, when that text message comes through, you can literally click this phone number and then give them a call pretty much immediately. Okay, awesome. And then from there, what you can do is you'll probably want to also set up a call between you and the person as well. So what this call does in GoHighLevel is essentially what you're going to do is when you program it, it's going to call you first. When you pick up the phone, it's going to automatically, you know, you're going to have to hit any key on the keypad. And once you do that, it's going to automatically connect you and the lead into a call together, right? So you guys can start talking. The call whisper is what's said to you when you pick up the phone. So it's gonna ring, you're gonna pick up, you're gonna be like, this is like a numbered phone. I don't know who this is. You pick it up. It's gonna say, hey, Jono, you have a call from, you know, your company. Please call new lead right now. You click any key on the keypad. It's gonna connect you guys into a call together. You're gonna be talking probably within, I wanna say like 10 or 15 seconds here. So, hey, Jono, you have, a new lead, please call, and inbound trigger first name by clicking any key on the keypad. Oh my gosh, my spelling today is horrible. Keypad to get started. Okay, awesome. So, hey, Jono, you have a new lead. Please call, you know, John Smith by clicking any key on the keypad to get started. Okay, awesome. So there we go. We can save that action and it's done. Now, what we've done here effectively is we've gone from the high level overview, right? So how, you know, where are we getting these leads? SEO, is it Google Ads, is it social media? It comes into the website. Once it comes into the website, we have the form set up. And then once they submit that form, then it goes to make.com and we essentially parse that information. And then we send it to the CRM, right? Which is right here. So we've sent it to the CRM and then we start the CRM workflow automation, which is this. Right? So now we're starting the CRM automation. So if you've made it this far, now you officially know how to automate leads that are coming from SEO, Google Ads, and social media and all these other platforms. Drive traffic to your website, have the customer fill out a form, send that information via webhook into make.com, then send it through an HTTP module to GoHighLevel to essentially send text messages and emails and call the client. That happened all automatically within 10 seconds. So that's the first part. We're gonna cover the next couple parts in later videos tomorrow and the next day. And essentially what that looks like is, you know, you have these lead sellers. Bark.com, Wedding Wire, Angie's List, you name it, all of that kind of stuff, right? And there's two different ways that we can get the information. Number one, and the simplest way, is that they're gonna have a built-in integration with Make.com or with Zapier, right? And great if they do, because it makes it so freaking easy. But if they don't have it, it's gonna be a bit more difficult. And what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to parse and scrape data from the email they send, because all of these lead providers, right? You know, they're in the business of making money. So every time a lead comes by, they'll send you an email and they'll be like, please buy this lead. We want to make more money, right? And through that email, you can just grab all the information and then put it into the same workflow. So we're going to be covering those in the next couple of days. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this useful, please, and you want to see more content just like this video, then hit the subscribe button down below, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.